Well, I make that 6 p.m. in the UK, and it is me, Brian, the UK Bitcoin Master, back after the halving, and oh my lord! Hi everyone, better calm down a little bit. How you all doing? It is Brian, the UK Bitcoin Master, back in the next 4 years before the coming halving, and it is great to be with you all. And it is the 14th of May, and it is 6 p.m. here in the UK. Hope you can hear me okay. Hope you like the backdrop. I think that's a really neat Bitcoin backdrop. So there you go. Great to see some of the regulars in the house. Elaine, Mrs. UK, my lovely wife, clearly is in. My lovely daughter, Buffy W's in. Rocky Palumbo. John Stramitis from Palm Springs, California is in. Casso, it is great to see you in the house. If I've missed anyone, pop your details in and I'll give you a shout out. But as always, great to have you all with me. Now, I've got to sink down in my chair a little bit because my wife's always moaning that I cut the top of my head off. So I've got to sink down in the chair. So let's get down in the chair a little bit. So it is great to be with you all. And as always, have a strong Bitcoin hand. That is the name of the game on this channel. The other name of the game on this channel that I haven't mentioned for a while is dollar cost average some Bitcoin. Get it off an exchange onto a Trezor and then enjoy life. Yes, we want the 2024 halving to come around, but we certainly don't want to wish our lives away waiting for that to happen, particularly at my time of life. Before I forget, John Stramitis, John from Malibu, would you kindly, when you get a minute, drop me an email, just say hello to uk.bitcoin.master@gmail.com. John, I meant to mention this on Monday and forgot. If you could do that, John, I want to connect with you and ask you something. Brilliant, superb. Listen, you don't need to put me up. I'm not coming over, although I'd love to. It's so goddamn cold here in the UK right now. But yeah, John, if you could do that, that'd be superb. So you can see my disclaimer. I'm not going to read it out to you. I am going to pop up my websites quickly for anyone new looking at the channel. ukbitcoinmaster.com is where you'll find every video I've ever done. My first video started, I believe, in May 2018, so I've just March 2018 actually, I think it was, so just over 2 years, and I can't believe where that's gone. I think if you look back through the archives, I've pretty well done 2 shows a week every single week for 2 years, on a Monday and on a Thursday at 6 p.m. UK time. I don't even miss when I go on holiday, vacation, whatever you guys call it. So pretty committed to this. If you check out bitcoininterviews.com, I've done some great interviews with some of the greatest thought leaders, in my opinion, in the Bitcoin space. So do check those out. I've moved these buttons around now. So, and finally, for those that want to drop a lightning tip, there you go. There's the QR code there, or tipping.me/@UK Bitcoin Master. But of course, tips not needed. If you want to drop a Bitcoin tip, in the show notes near the bottom, you will find my BTC address for anybody that wants to drop a BTC tip. That's up to you. But again, this show is not about looking for tips. It is about me just being excited about Bitcoin, sharing my excitement and my enthusiasm with others, the people that want to come over and check us out in the chat. I think that is it for now. So without further ado, Barefoot Barry from New Zealand, welcome. Great to have you with us. And as always, Barry, strong hand Bitcoin, love it. Let's get onto the show and let's see what we are going to talk about. God, crikey. For months, I've had these buttons in the same place and I've just reorganized them and now got to find them. There we go. Firstly, let's have a quick look at the Bitcoin price. We can see it's trading around, or sitting around 9,650, which is pretty darn healthy. People, just take a moment and pause. On March the 13th, the whole world crashed. The economy crashed, Bitcoin crashed. It went down to, I think it was 3.8-ish. Correct me if I'm wrong, something like that. And, everybody was saying, oh, it's correlated with the stock markets. All of a sudden, here we are a couple of months later, and we have bounced back almost to where we were, in fact, to where we were before that crash. So things are looking pretty darn healthy. Now, what I want to do, I want to inject a bit of realism in here. So I've put this graph up again. And you will notice this is from pretty well inception of Bitcoin all the way along the halvings, 2012, 13. You see that growth at 14, the 17 pump up to just under 20,000. What I want you to do on this chart is just pay attention to where we are now. Now, this line creates these flipping bubbles, but, we're up here now at, hang on a sec, it's not giving me the 9, it's giving me 9K there. But don't think that when you look at the rest of this lot here, the ups and the downs, we can't have a pullback before we go again. Now, I don't understand charts. So I am not for 1 minute saying we're going to have a pullback. I'm simply saying if it does happen, be ready for it and understand that no matter where we are, look at these ups, downs, highs, lows. You cannot, please don't expect a bull run that just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. That we will get a bull run, I think, and I think it will mirror maybe 2017. We'll have to wait and see. But this is the type of chart that I like. Can you see the steady upward trend? That's what you need, a nice steady trend. Sure, a bull, then a pullback, then another steady trend. And I like that. And somebody might say that's a rubbish chart. Me personally, as a novice that doesn't understand charts, TA, or anything like that, I like charts like this. Steady candles in an upward direction, a few reds, then a few more greens. I could live with that for 4 or 5 years. I really could. Okay, so that's not the news. That's a little bit about what's going on with the price. And it's really interesting. I reached out to one of my family members today, and I've mentioned this individual before, where he lost money on Bitcoin, but it was a trading scheme. And I sent him an image of my first Bitcoin that I purchased with the date. And it was about £1,500 for one Bitcoin. And then I sent him the chart from last night that finished up on about 9.4, I believe, before these green candles went up. And I say, you really need to talk to me and don't miss out on this. Now, it's really interesting because not only did he read the WhatsApp message, because you get a notification with 2 blue ticks, nothing. Not only did he read the messenger message, and I got a notification to say that he's read that as well, but I haven't heard a wink from him. That's the world we live in. That's how early we are in Bitcoin, people. So, just keep that one in mind. Let's have a look at some of the news. Okay. I don't know who Paul Tudor Jones is. What I do know is apparently he's a hedge fund manager. He's massive. Other hedge fund managers look up to him and would follow his lead. That's about all I know, and I don't really want to or need to know anymore. Suffice to say that this guy is now apparently in Bitcoin. And it says here, legendary macro investor Paul Tudor Jones recently professed his interest in Bitcoin within a market note to investors. His comments about the digital asset were incredibly bullish. He even claimed that Bitcoin reminds him of gold in the 1970s. Now, I know that you've probably seen this on other shows, but of course, I don't do an everyday show. I do a show every Monday and Thursday. So unfortunately, I'm probably lagging behind everyone else, and you're probably thinking, oh, we've heard all this stuff before. I can't help that. It's now been revealed that he holds 2% of his net worth within the cryptocurrency. One economist believes that his comments on Bitcoin within the recent letter is the single most bullish thing ever written about Bitcoin. Now, the interesting thing is, from what I can gather, and this is for you to check out the notes and go and read it if you haven't already, is he doesn't hold Bitcoin. From what I can gather, and Rocky will always put me right or wrong on this, or some of you guys that are in the comments, he owns Bitcoin's futures, okay, which is not Bitcoin, okay? And I just wanted to put the record straight there, because it's almost misleading saying that he owns Bitcoin when he actually doesn't. You own Bitcoin if you own your private keys. If your Bitcoin is not on an exchange and you're betting against a future price or an up or down, and that's a future, okay? But the mere fact that everyone's talking about this guy being in Bitcoin, can that be good for the space? Can that be good for more and more mainstream companies, institutions maybe going, whoa, hello, what's he doing? We need to have some of this. This is what happens. You always get a lead and then others follow. And to have a lead apparently as big as this guy is, well, as far as my show goes, can that be good for Bitcoin or bad for Bitcoin? Personally, I think it's excellent for Bitcoin. So a shout out to that article. Okay, see, I'm cutting the top of my head off in the right hand side, and my missus will moan about me. Let me drop my chair down a fraction. There you go, my darling, just to please you. Okay, forget the noise. These indicators suggest 2020 will be the year of crypto. Now, if I had a way, I would put a line through that and write Bitcoin beside it, because I read a tweet recently. It said, forget crypto, it's Bitcoin. There's no crypto, it's Bitcoin. Now, I am not a Bitcoin maximalist, because I do believe that the ecosystem, Bitcoin will be out there in front. It will be the one chance at money. I never moan. No, you don't. Wow. No, you don't. It'd be the one chance at money. Nothing else has got a shot. But of course, there's going to be an ecosystem around it with other coins that do other things and other use cases. But I don't think, and it's just a personal opinion again, I don't think they'll ever hold a candle to Bitcoin with its network effects, the 11 years it has been in, the 350 plus times that there's been obituaries written about it that it's dead. But this article was referring to takeaways. It is 2020 the year crypto goes mainstream. New addresses in 2020, active users hitting highs. So that's really what that article is referring to. But at the end of the day, people, I think what we do have to keep in mind that all these articles are also noise. I've said it once, I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it. Bitcoin, this ought to be a mantra. Bitcoin will do what it's going to do when it's ready to do it without you or I influencing it. Okay. One thing I did want to mention at the head of the show, and I forgot. Oh, my Lord. I was on Tone Vase's live stream, Zoom live stream, not on the show, but, in the chat. And you know what? Whilst, there was some incredible people on there. Sorry, I forgot to mention this, peeps, so it's on my mind now. 15,000 live viewers at its peak. Simon Dixon was on there. There was so many top names on there, many I didn't know. But they got the Winklevoss twins on there. The Winklevoss twins then got the guy on there that writes the TV series Billions. And Tone was asking him about the fact that the new series has got Bitcoin features about Bitcoin in it. I don't know. Well, I saw one clip. I shared it on Monday's show. But from what he was alluding to, there are other bits to do with Bitcoin on it. And that guy that writes Billions was in the chat as well and communicating with Tone. No, not in the chat. He had his Zoom camera on and he was one of the Zoom guests. And it was absolutely incredible. So I watched it after my show. I had a training to do with my team, but I had it on the iPad in the corner because I didn't want to miss it. I went through the halving. Now, some of you on the show tonight have probably been through more halvings than me. This is my first. I just missed the 2016 by about 8 or 9 months, but it was just an incredible experience, and I was watching that block being mined, and they were talking about that The 629,999th block was still at 12.5, and then the 63,000 block was 6.25 bitcoins, so it had been cut in half. And then there was a delay. It took 30 minutes or more, and the blocks hadn't changed, and it was just energy, and it was just exciting. And I just wanted to share that with you all ahead, and I forgot, and I stayed on for a couple of hours afterwards, and it was absolutely awesome. And if you want energy, go in and pick up maybe an hour or so either side of the halving of that. I think Tone was on for 12 hours, but it really was an incredible experience for me personally, and I'm really excited about Bitcoin already. But it was like, you could ask Elaine, she's in the chat, she could hear me. I was just laughing and shouting out, and we had a drink and we celebrated the halving in as if it was the new year or a birthday. It really was incredible. So sorry, just wanted to make that point on the show, because we're only going to get to do that once every 4 years. So what else is in the news? Okay. Morgan Creek's CEO says Bitcoin price could pass 100k in 21 as BTC circles 10k. Now, I didn't want to put this in the title because I'm not interested really in clickbaity sort of stuff. But I thought, I've listened to this guy on CNBC a few times, and he's really bullish on Bitcoin. Now, did I put anything that he said? Yeah. Morgan Creek CEO, I forget what his name is now. It is up here somewhere. I do know it, but I can't flipping remember what it is. I think Mark Yusko, that's right. It says CEO says Bitcoin could reach 100k in 2021. These comments came in a recent interview on May the 6th with the YouTube channel Altcoin Buzz. In it, Morgan Creek's CEO Mark Yusko said Bitcoin's price could rally by a whopping 1,000% until next year. Until next year. That must be an American terminology. We would say maybe by next year. So until, is that like when you say shut up already? So I don't quite understand that American shut up already. We would say, will you just shut up? Shut up already. Not quite sure, but I guess he means at some point next year. Now, again, no price predictions, but everything is bullish, isn't it, for Bitcoin right now? That the candles are good, the price is steady. Zaza's in the house. Good to have you with us, Zaza. Pound the like button for Mr. Zaza. Just buy Bitcoin. Welcome to the show. Quick look and see if there's anybody else that's joined. I love giving people a shout out as they join the show. No, that's it. If you want me to give you a shout out, or you want to get my attention, do type in UK Bitcoin Master before you type anything, or copy and paste it, and then I'll see it highlights it in orange. In fact, Barefoot Barry said Bitcoin isn't the tip of the iceberg. Bitcoin is the iceberg. Get in there, Barry. Love it, my man. I love statements like that. Awesome. I'm glad I spotted that. So, this guy's really, really bullish on Bitcoin, which is absolutely fantastic, obviously. Now, whoops, here we go. We're doing a little bit of a refresh here. Sorry, peeps, interlude. Here's a really interesting one. And if my technology doesn't let me down, I'm going to run something for you. Now, do we all remember Jamie Dimon? I mean, I was involved in Bitcoin. For those that don't know, Jamie Dimon is the head of JP Morgan in America. And he slated Bitcoin. He said if any of his employees... What the hell has just happened there? Any of his employees got involved in Bitcoin, they would be sacked. Caitlin Long, that we all respect, was also in JP Morgan's, I believe, pensions department. And then she saw what they were doing, the underhand activities of banks, and got out, and then got into Bitcoin, and is now working down in Wyoming, building that state with all their laws that are so pro cryptocurrency. I think everybody wants to move to Wyoming. Now, why am I telling you this? Because all of a sudden, and I'm going to run a little video in a minute if it doesn't let me down. It's only about 20 seconds, but I caught it earlier on Twitter, and I just felt I wanted to share it. So JP Morgan adds Coinbase and Gemini crypto exchanges to its consumer network. No crypto, fiat only. He said he would never be involved in crypto. Bitcoin was, I'm not even going to use the word scam. I can't remember the words, but they were damning to Bitcoin. But what I want to do now, if you'll hold with me, take a quick clip a look at this clip that I found. Here we go. Where are we? I've lost it again. Random video. Just watch this. Oh, no, it didn't work. Hang on. And it still didn't work. Okay, let's try this one.
The governments would try to stop the currency being a Bitcoin currency, but be a technology. But there would be entrepreneurs who would kind of run a shadow economy system based on Bitcoin. So how would you see that play out?
It's just not going to happen. And you're wasting your time.
So you think they're
when the DOJ calls someone up and says that's an illegal currency and it's against the laws of the United States.
Look up in the corner. This was 2015.
So you really
there's no issue. There will be, this is my personal opinion, there will be no real non-controlled currency in the world. There's no government that's going to put up with it for long. It's kind of cute now. You know, a lot of the senators in Congress will say, I support Silicon Valley innovation. There will be no currency that gets around government controls.
Okay, so here's a thing. All you have to do is hold firm with your beliefs, and ultimately people like that, they're just noise, and we're going to be proved right. I think I had a quote once. It said, first they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. And it was a picture of Jamie Dimon to the side of it, you know. And I think at the time, a couple of years ago, I think there was an arrow pointing. It said, we are here. They fight you, you know. So they're still fighting us. But all of a sudden, here's a guy that's gone from saying if any of his employees are ever involved in Bitcoin, they'll be sacked. We'll never, ever use it. Governments won't accept it. Governments, you know, will none of it. And then you see a video like that. I thought that was just so neat. Sorry, peeps. That's just me humouring myself. I thought it was absolutely superb. Where are we? Whoops, I've gone backwards, JP Morgan. So a quick one from Decrypt. I couldn't fail to mention this one. You know, fake Toshi, as we call him. This guy, I won't name him. It's written there. You know, he keeps saying that he is Satoshi Nakamoto. He never proves it. There's been lawsuits. People follow him like he's some kind of a god. And then he says, I promise I am going to break Bitcoin on Monday or during the halving. And my question is, what happened? It didn't break. In brief, he'd threatened to strangle the Bitcoin blockchain during the block reward halving. Didn't happen. Claimed he would sell a large volume of Bitcoin while simultaneously opening a 10x leveraged short. I don't even know what that is, but that's what he claimed. But the halving has come and gone. And guess what? As always, when this guy is involved, whoops, I just moved all of that and I shouldn't have done. Nothing happened. As always, you know, the trouble is people blindly follow him and they miss the point of decentralization. When you've got someone or an entity at the head of, you know, an organization, you've got someone that people want to blindly follow. You've got a figurehead that a government could take down. You've got someone that could make changes when it suits them, etc., etc., etc. And I said that I won't mention this individual again on my shows, but the problem is he just makes himself look so stupid, doesn't he? He makes all these claims and none of them ever happen or come to fruition. Paul Roulau, welcome to the show. I've spotted that you've just snuck in there. Great to have you with us as always. Okay, quick interlude, peeps. I do want to give a shout out to Dan at justlearnbitcoin.com. Dan's really not well at the moment. I remember several weeks ago he came on a show and said they're pretty sure he's got COVID-19. Now, I don't know whether that is the case or isn't, but I know Dan's not well. So, Dan, just a shout out to you, mate. Get well soon. You know, we're all rooting for you. I know you're off work at the moment with your day job, but Dan also heads up justlearnbitcoin.com. And they got so much good stuff over there, peeps. You really should go and check them out. Look at that bracelet. And if this will work, there's mine if you can see it. I just love this Bitcoin bracelet. Sorry, that's an arthritic wrist there. Doesn't bend. You want to get your hands on one because they're a great talking point. And on btcbracelets.com, I can't remember what it goes, 25% off selected items. So it is worth checking out. They've also got some great swag over there, as it's called. Hoodies, t-shirts, bath towels, beach towels, cups, mugs, absolutely everything. Why would you go there? If you're watching this in the future and you're brand new and you want to learn, they've got courses over there. They've got everything over there. You know, if you need help with wallet setup and backup, storage solutions, long-term storage solutions, end-of-life planning, if you want help, questions, if you want to ask questions about what mining is, if you want a vanity address, if you send your Bitcoin to the wrong address by accident or the wrong chain, there may be a way to get it back. There is so much good stuff over there. So do at least check them out, I would strongly suggest. What I would encourage you all to do is go back when you've done that inside the homepage and find this tab here. As always, forgive me, people, just humour me in the middle of the show because we really need to try and help this guy get some of his Bitcoin back. He's part of the community. He's part of this show. He comes on whenever he can. He's been poorly recently, which another shout out for Phil. You know, him and his family, he's been a pastor in the church. He had his Bitcoin stolen by a hacker doing an update on the Trezor. And if you're new to the channel, there's a couple of videos that you can watch that explain how he lost that Bitcoin. If you go to the family story, which he had someone write for him, which is quite heart-wrenching actually, it's called Bagpipes, Bitcoin and Broken Dreams. It really is worth a read. And as you can see, one scroll and I've hit the bottom. Just one. There's nothing to read. 2 or 3 minutes reading. Rocky, who's in the chat, has also kindly made, Phil's made the transaction ID available to Rocky, who's then put it up on the site. You can see there it is. For anyone that's techie, may be able to track, you know, that transaction ID down, whether you ever will or whether Phil would get it back. I very much doubt it. You can see all of Phil's transactions, building his Bitcoin up for his family when he dies. And it was all hacked. Now, on any of these pages, you can click a tab that will take you to Tallycoin. And this is where you can donate $1, $5, $10, $100, half a Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin, 10 if you're a whale. You know, I see people donating to the likes of the Goldbug, Peter Schiff. I see people donating to some guy that mentions something on Twitter, and in a heartbeat, he's got 1 Bitcoin donated to him. And yet we've got a cause here, excuse me, from a lovely gentleman who's done so much good in the world and in his community. And yet I want to be positive, but I know after 8 or 9 months, 24 donations, you know, Phil is appreciative of every single donation made. But, you know, anyone could make a $10 donation or buy $10 worth of Bitcoin and then send it from your Coinbase account or wherever you buy it straight to that Bitcoin address. We've made a couple of donations. We'll make more. And, you know, Rocky and I and Phil have got a goal to get Phil up to 1 full Bitcoin and then do a live show so that Phil can come on and thank everyone that's donated publicly. So if you can, do try and go over there and support Phil's cause. On with the show. Hang on, Elaine, my lovely wife, can you read out slowly your email? Yeah, John, it is uk.bitcoin.master@gmail.com. It's in the show notes when it's over. uk.bitcoin.master@gmail.com. Drop me a line, John. Thank you. Okay, found some tweets. Alan, who I don't know who Alan is, but let's have a look at this tweet. Bitcoin is no longer an experiment. It is a non-violent revolution against financial tyranny. Now, if Pastor Phil was on the show, he would be beating the drum. He's beating the drum lot on that about this tyranny like crazy on Twitter. Led by nobody, fought by anybody and everybody. And it is literally trolling its way to victory. Isn't that profound? Happy Bitcoin halving, everybody. See you again in 4 years. I think that's just, it really sums up where we're at. And I'll say it again, people. Bitcoin will do what it's going to do, and you and I won't influence it. So we just well sit back, enjoy the ride, and stop stressing out looking at charts. Okay, I found another one from Heavily Armed Clown. Wife. So how was your Bitcoin thing today, dear? Me. It was great. Pretty much nothing happened. Wife. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Me. Don't be. Everything's going according to plan. That sums up Bitcoin, doesn't it? You know, most of the time, the hardest thing for any of us is to do nothing. We feel, well, I don't, but we feel we need to be doing something with our Bitcoin, but we don't. We just stack the Satoshis and we wait. And instead of putting our focus on waiting for Bitcoin to do what it does, enjoy life. I'm going to say this tongue in cheek. Go to work, enjoy family time, go on holiday, vacation, clean the garden, paint the walls, just enjoy life. And Bitcoin will do what it's going to do in the background. And I'm telling you, from my own personal point of view, my own belief, without any financial advice, I just know the direction that Bitcoin is going. I can feel it. I say it on lots of shows. I just feel like I've come home by discovering Bitcoin. So in 2016, Bitcoin rallied 67% into the halving. It corrected 33% and bottomed within 3 weeks, only to begin a 17-month bull run. In 2020, we didn't rally going into the halving as we recovered losses from a global market meltdown. The fundamentals for Bitcoin have never been stronger. Okay, just a great tweet there. And that's the thing you need to learn. The fundamentals haven't changed. The fact that people freak out when the markets are crashing and they pull their money out of stocks, bonds and Bitcoin and it tanks does not mean there's anything wrong with Bitcoin, because if you zoom out on that chart, you'll see the crash on March the 13th and how, we've rebounded back. We're where we were before that. And, it's an exciting time knowing that, the rest of this year and maybe all of next year, we could see something pretty darn amazing. But you know what? We may not. And if we don't, that is where you need your strong hand, my lovely people, because you can't just expect the pumps to come. And even if they don't, it means you're speculating instead of in Bitcoin for the right reasons. Okay. Heidi, I use Heidi a lot, even though she's, talks about other bleep coins as well. But she's got some common sense. I say it most times. This is and she's been around a long time. This is the third halving that I've have seen Bitcoin go through. However, I've never been so bullish in my life. Not just bullish for monetary gains, but also the fact that the world has an opt-out from these absolutely crazy psychopaths that run central banks. I say hear to that one, wouldn't you? All of you? Bang it in the chat, because she's absolutely right. And then hot or not. 900 new Bitcoin minted daily. In 4 years, only 450 will be minted daily. 46 million millionaires in the world. Not enough BTC to go around. I've been saying this for months on my channel, and I always thought it was 29 million millionaires. But hey, maybe Hodl knows more than me, but 46 million. So look, if there's only 21 million coins when they're all minted, okay, and 18 million are minted, 2 or 3 million are lost, let's say 2 to be conservative. So there's 16 million Bitcoins out there. currently, and 3 more million will be mined over the next 120 years. So let's look at what's out there now. Pretty well all of it. Okay? 46 million millionaires. There isn't even enough Bitcoin out there for each millionaire to have half a Bitcoin each when they finally get it. If you get it right now before they get it, get it, yeah, and you build your Bitcoin pot right now, even if you get to half a Bitcoin and all the other Bitcoin that we've all got, we sell and all these millionaires buy it, you'll still be in the minority of people that have got half a Bitcoin. And that is why Bitcoin Meister says it, I'm saying it, dollar cost average. Guy Bennett beating the drum on Twitter about dollar cost averaging. Build up. Don't wait, because the price is going to go up and you're going to get less money for your monthly Bitcoin purchases. But aim for 1 Bitcoin. Because I said it on Monday's show, there'll come a point probably after this next big pump, if it happens, after this next big pump, where nobody will be able to focus on buying 1 Bitcoin. They'll be looking at, can I afford to get 0.1 Bitcoin? Do you see where I'm coming from, people? So the faster you get the Bitcoin while the price is where it is, the more BTC you are going to get for your money. So one last thing I would say to anybody watching this now and in the future, if you are just getting into Bitcoin, get in that rabbit hole. Get a bit of Bitcoin, sure, speculate what you can afford to lose, but get down that rabbit hole and start to understand why. My lovely wife in the chat, she's an analyst, an analytic person. And whenever somebody says something, she always says, why? Not because she's being awkward, because that's what analytical people do. And you need to understand why Bitcoin's going to go where it's going to go. Just buy Bitcoin. Here. Love it. So, all these people that I show, all these articles, are talking common sense. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to be involved, and listen to what I'm about to say, to be involved in the greatest wealth transfer the world has ever experienced. The money coming away from the rich and moving into the hands of people like us that are building a bit of Bitcoin up. Look at the 46 millionaires. Look at the fact that if you got 1 Bitcoin, you could well be a millionaire in a decade or even less with that 1 Bitcoin. Is that not worth rejigging your finances for, giving up a couple of takeaways or a bottle of wine or two? Elaine would say definitely not. And purchasing a little bit of Bitcoin as often as you can. So people, we're at the end of the show. You know me, I love quotes, and I love this one. And I want you to think about yourself as I read this. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people. Let me tell you where I think most of the small minds are, shall I? Twitter. Because all they want to do is hit on other people. Instead of, we've got such a small community here, why can't we all build it as a community? Why do we need to beat up on each other? There's enough space in the world and the cryptocurrency space as it grows for people to have their bleep coins if they want, and fair play to them. It's up to them. It is mental to think everybody is going to get Bitcoin, because they're simply not. The cold harsh facts of the world are this: 95% of common people will end up in retirement either dead or dead broke. Only 5% of the world hold all the wealth. That wealth can be transferred to some of the 95% like us if we catch that vision, if we stop spending our time beating up on other people on Twitter and just be positive wherever we can. Because you try this, go out and about somewhere, go for a walk and smile at someone, and you know what? You encourage them to smile back. It's absolutely natural. So instead of beating up on someone, say something nice to someone. and see what comes back, and it will make a better world. Listen, perhaps I'm on my little soapbox there. So, people, that is our show for today. I am Brian, the UK Bitcoin Master, imploring you, share this link on Twitter if you thought it was a good show. Follow me on Twitter at UK Bitcoin Master. But also check out my other social media platforms because, you know, I've only got a small following, but if my Bitcoin channel was taken down on YouTube, where would you go to find me? Well, the first place I would go is facebook.com/UK Bitcoin Master, because these get uploaded over there, but I'm all set up that if this went down, I'd repoint my stream key and I'd start going live to Facebook. So at least go over there and like my Facebook page. I don't have loads of stupid dog and cat videos on it. I don't. I've got my own Facebook for my family and my friends around the world, but I've set up a second Facebook that is purely UK Bitcoin Master, and there's none of that rubbish on there. And I only post when my shows are going live and maybe positive articles and tweets. So do check me out at Facebook, on library.tv. Every one of my videos is on BitChute, so subscribe to me over at BitChute as well. They're all going to come up at the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, the squares will come up, so you can click on those. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I'm so sorry that you can't see any of the visuals that I've shown. But again, go and like me on Anchor FM. These go out on podcast form as well. Okay, peeps, that is my show for today. Thank you for giving me a hearing. Thank you for supporting me. Please do like, share, and subscribe this. Subscribe to the channel so you get notified. Hit the bell button. That is it, peeps. I'm going to go. I'm going to put my social media up. Thanks for being here. I will catch you all on Monday. John, please email me. Beyond that, have a great weekend, whatever you're doing, everyone. I'm signing off. Catch you all on Monday. See ya. Oh, and it didn't work.